Michael Jackson's nephew Jafar just landed the role of the King of Pop in an upcoming biopic surrounding the late star's life. Stick around until the end to learn all about it. Welcome back to our favorite edition of Where Are They Now? I'm your host Michaela, here to break it all down. Being fairly new to the industry, Jafar is best known for being a child of Jackson 5's Jermaine Jackson and the nephew of Michael Jackson himself. Alongside this, Jafar's music career has gained a bit of buzz lately, perfectly aligned with the announcement of what could potentially be the biggest career move he'll ever see. But who exactly is Jafar, and why haven't we heard of him much before now? Keep watching to find out. But first, did you know of Jafar before he was announced to play the titular role in Michael's biopic? If not, do you think he's the perfect person to portray his late uncle now? Share your response in the comments and let's jump right in. According to IMDb, Jafar is a rising singer, entertainer, and songwriter. He was born in Los Angeles as second youngest son of the legendary singer, songwriter, and producer Jermaine Jackson, as well as the nephew of the iconic King of Pop MJ. As a young kid, Jafar aspired to one day become a professional golfer. However, being surrounded by a family of legendary entertainers in Encino, California his whole life, it only made sense that Jafar soon followed in their iconic footsteps. The Jackson Bunch notably hosts the most powerful and prominent musical influencers around the globe. Because of this and so much more, Jafar has a naturally amazing and eccentric taste in music. Doubled from listening to film scores, Jafar utilizes a lot of his time to showcase his vast variety of selections, from Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke to Johnny Mathis and Nat Cole. The start of Jafar's career began when he was 12 years old. As a notable talent on his own, Jafar is well versed in piano playing and has gradually developed a handful of techniques as well as rich knowledge of artistry and music. He's known to be a creative spirit who tends to share his love for the arts in other forms like traveling, drawing, and his sweet passion for fashion. Besides America, Jafar's favorite places to travel include Austria and Hong Kong, owing it all to the shops, landscaping, and good energy of these places as to why he holds them so near and dear to his heart. The rising star has dreams of traveling to Paris and collaborating with renowned producer Rick Rubin. Because of his captivating aura, his tenor voice, and his hypnotizing R&B and pop vibe, Jafar is surely set to become the influencer of all demographics. As an artist, Jafar wants nothing more than to be remembered as someone who makes moving music through stories that inspire people to be themselves. His rise to the top can very well happen as he's managed by Alex Avant, the son of the godfather of black music Clarence Avant, otherly known as a legendary executive, film producer, and entrepreneur. To know about Jafar means you must also know about the musical icons who came before him, who he grew up with, people he'll be continuing to walk in the footsteps of, like his father, Jermaine, who was born into the ever-famous Jackson family in 1954. Jermaine is not only the father of Jafar, but of other sons, Jermaine Jr., Your Majesty, Jamie, Dante, Jordan, Jeremy, and daughters Autumn and Dawn. Jermaine was a child from a big family of his own, where the Jacksons' kids' parents, Catherine and Joseph, conceived 10 in total. Like his son, Jermaine grew up around musical influences and talent. His skills eventually branded him a member of the hit band Jackson 5, consisting of his late brother Michael alongside siblings Jackie, Tito, and Marlon. Jermaine was originally the band's rhythm guitarist and lead singer, but eventually made the switch to backup vocals and bass. After a rift patch between Jermaine and Michael was privately mended between the two of them, originally starting from a controversial song of Jermaine's that threw open shots at his brother, Jermaine spoke at his brother's 2009 funeral service. Jermaine would even go on to defend Michael from the public on news shows and showed up for his brother in court in light of Michael's child-related trial during his latest years of life. Jermaine is a father of 9 kids, with Jafar being one of his youngest. Now, when we talk about musical icons, we know there's just no one bigger than Michael Jackson himself. Like Jermaine, Michael was a huge success in music and would go on to hit legendary status as the King of Pop. But before this untouchable fame, Michael was also a very important addition to the Jackson 5, as he led the group as their main vocalist when he initially joined at the tender age of 5. Back in 1958, Michael was a multifaceted music entertainer who thrived in a chart-topping career both during his time with the Jackson 5 and as a majorly loved soloist. His release of one of the best-selling albums in history came in 1982 under the title Thriller, and dropped other #1 hits from Off the Wall and Bad. Michael was and always will be one of America's best-selling singer-songwriters and dancers. As a child, he was pushed right into fame as the frontrunner and lead vocalist of his family's popular Motown group, and later transitioned into a solo career of astonishing, damn near untouchable success, pumping out #1 hits from every single one of his releases. Towards his final years of life, Michael was hounded with allegations that nearly ruined his entire legacy. He welcomed 3 children named Prince, Paris, and BG Blanket Jackson in his time with us. His passing came and went in 2009 at 50 years of age due to an overdose before the launch of his comeback tour. Despite the death that truly rocked the world, there may just be a new glimmer of hope to bring some of Michael back, and this lies in the palms of none other than his nephew Jafar. If you're excited to see Jafar starring as Michael in the upcoming biopic, leave a like on today's Where Are They Now? Now, let's discuss everything there is to know about Jafar, his role, and how it ties into today's video. The 26-year-old star is moonwalking straight into his uncle's legacy as he portrays the king of pop himself in Lionsgate's highly awaited biopic Michael, produced by The Departed's Graham King and directed by Antoine Fuqua. In a Variety statement, Antoine once said, "It's incredibly exciting to watch Jafar bring Michael to life. There was such a spiritual connection when I first met Jafar, who has a natural ability to emulate Michael and such great chemistry with the camera." Originally, Jafar was picked for the part after a worldwide casting search was held. In regards to the part, Graham, whose credits include 2018's Tomb Raider, detailed Jafar's success as clear that he is the only person to take on this role. Graham and Jafar met over 2 years prior, of which Graham described to Variety as being blown away by the way he organically personifies the spirit and personality of Michael. "I am beyond thrilled that he has come on board to betray his uncle and cannot wait for the world to see him on the big screen as Michael Jackson." According to Lionsgate, the anticipated biopic will dive into all aspects of the late artist's life, including his quote, "most iconic performances that led him to become the greatest entertainer of all time." On top of playing out his legacy on big screens, the film will also apparently stay true to all of Michael's controversies as well, according to Deadline. And while no official release date has been set for Michael, the media outlet noted that the initial filming will start this year. So between his personal background and professional past, here is everything else we need to know about Jafar. Jafar Jackson is the son of father Jermaine Jackson and mother Alejandra Geneva Oasiaza, who welcomed the rising young star into the world in July 1996. His parents remained together and married from 1995 to 2003. Since 12 years old, Jafar has taken up singing and dancing, as per Deadline, and has showcased his talents through numerous huge iconic artists' originals. In 2019, Jafar's first single, a music video, was released, showing off his talents in dance and vocals. And despite his time in the spotlight being no stranger to the screen through several family-oriented projects throughout the years, Michael will be Jafar's official acting gig. On top of this, Jafar has received the stamp of approval from MJ's mother Catherine, who knows her son better than any other. That right there is some honor. On the topic, Catherine has explained how much Jafar seems to embody her son in every way, shape, and sense. Further stating to The Hollywood Reporter, "It's so wonderful to see him carry on the Jackson legacy of entertainers and performers." As for Jafar, he uploaded a single photo to his Instagram on January 30th to gush about his casting news, captioning the black and white snap of him striking his uncle's iconic pose, "I'm humbled and honored to bring my Uncle Michael's story to life. To all the fans all over the world, I'll see you soon." In other news, of course, it's a known fact that portraying the singing and dancing icon on screen was never going to be an easy feat. However, Jafar may just step up to the plate and successfully gift fans with the one thing they've been begging for years. Aside from the Lionsgate biopic, tributes for Michael Jackson have already sprouted. MJ's timeless hits have not only inspired impersonators, but several official productions, including the currently on Broadway musical MJ the Musical, which focuses on recreating the drama behind Michael's 1992 Dangerous World Tour, created by Tony Award winner Christopher Wheeldon and Pulitzer Prize winner Lynn Nottage. Las Vegas' Cirque du Soleil show has put on Michael Jackson 1, which depicts Michael's extensive discography as a soundtrack to the lives of 4 misfits on their self-discovery journeys. Whereas Who's Bad? The Michael Jackson Experience is a global touring show which recreates some of MJ's seminal songs and videos from 2003 onwards. Now, getting back to Michael's nephew Jafar, his first single, Got Me Singin', which dropped in 2019, was accompanied by a culturally stunning video shot in Brazil, as touched on briefly earlier. The track is heavily reminiscent of his uncle's former sound, from the definitive Jackson vocals to its staccato Latin beats. Jafar also flexes some nice grooves on the rooftops of the Brazilian establishments. As for the biopic, who was the man behind the plan? Well, the MJ-centric flick is planned to start production this year and has the involved assistance of several Hollywood veterans. Directing the film, as aforementioned, is Antoine, who also directed Will Smith's 2022 movie Emancipation and Denzel Washington's 2001 starring single-season show Training Day. In another Instagram post, Antoine featured an image of Jafar in character as Michael, including the caption, "Proud to announce Jaafar Jackson as Michael," the motion picture event that explores the journey of the man who became the king of pop. Coming soon. The screenplay is in the works by John Logan, who was responsible for the writing of Ridley Scott's Oscar-winning Gladiator. John and Graham had previously teamed up on Martin Scorsese's Aviator. I'm sure a question floating in a lot of people's minds is, will the MJ biopic be authorized? Well, if it hasn't already been made clear, yes, the film will definitely be authorized. And though we're not sure how deep they'll be diving into the late singer's various scandals, we do know the project is being overseen and done with the blessing of Michael's estate. Not only will his mom be keeping a sharp eye on what is brought into the movie, but so will Michael's longtime legal team, John Branca and John McClane, who also co-execute the late artist's estate. But what are some of the things we could be look at tackling in the biopic despite this? Well, during the early 90s, Michael was thrown into an investigation by the LA Police Department after a young boy accused the late star of inappropriate behavior. After a raid of Michael's Neverland Ranch residence in 2003, authorities detailed MJ on charges related to misconduct and indecency involving a minor. In 2005, Michael, who tirelessly maintained his innocence, was acquitted of all charges. His passing came about 4 years after this, when his doctor gave him too large a dose of anesthetic, initially administered to help Michael sleep. Overall, I am wholeheartedly intrigued by how interesting it will be to see Michael tackle these topics, both applauded and scrutinized, which will play out on the big screens quite soon. And here's to hoping Jafar can branch out and prove he's more than just MJ's relative, because he sure does have the talent for it. That's been today's WATN. Thanks for watching, friends!